Does one hit from a bong make you the new Tommy Chung? Swimmer Michael Phelps apologized on Sunday after a British tabloid published a picture of him inhaling deeply from a bong. The first ever dolphin-human hybrid issued a statement saying, quote, "I engaged in behavior which was regrettable and demonstrated bad judgment. I'm 23 years old, and despite the successes I've had in the pool, I've acted in a youthful and inappropriate way. For this, I am sorry. I promise my fans and the public it will not happen again." He then injected a gram of smack between his slender toes.
What?
Yes, it's true. I was there. Joining us to talk about this is senior editor David Bienenstock from High Times Magazine, a magazine for potheads, by potheads, about potheads. David, you are the expert. A 23-year-old dude is smoking pot at a college party. Does this sort of thing happen often?
Well, I began my own investigation into the subject of marijuana when I was a college student, and it was pretty fertile ground for research. I don't think he's the only one.
Now, you've got an eye for such things. What kind of bong was Phelps smoking out of?
It's a glass bong by appearances. It's a little hard to tell quite how long it is, but it's not for the uninitiated, you know, and based on the good bong stance he's got,
yes, I
don't think it's the first time. Good form. Shoulders, you know, square to the bong, ready to inhale. Clearly he's got the lung capacity, so...
Yes, he could probably win an Olympic medal in bong hits, given his lung capacity. Don't you agree, David?
Well, you know, it's not just lung capacity that makes a great bong hitter, you know, so I would think that some serious competition will come out of the woodwork once that's added to the Olympic roster.
It's not just sucking, it's the way you load the carb.
Yeah.
You know, that's a famous old saying.
Yes, yes. Now, David, he is a swimmer. Could one argue he gravitated toward that bong because it was full of water, and therefore just a natural inclination on his part?
I think he probably gravitated to it because it was full of pot. And he was probably looking for something a lot healthier and better for you than alcohol as a way to relax. You know, it's so hypocritical that every major sports competition in this country is sponsored by beer companies, and we have a Jack Daniels car that races in NASCAR, and yet all of a sudden this young man decides, you know, he wants to take a bong hit or possibly two, and he's the bad example. You know, that doesn't really wash with me.
You know, you're absolutely right. Do you think he should have apologized? Did you lose respect for him when he did that?
If somebody, you know, if I had millions of dollars at stake to make a half-hearted apology, I might do the same thing. So I can't be too hard on him, but I'd like to live in a society where you don't have to apologize for harmless recreation, you know.
Well, you know, if he loses any of his sponsorship, is High Times going to step in and sponsor him?
Well, I know Frosted Flakes is actually, they doubled their endorsement. But in all seriousness, if you're an athlete, one joint a night at the end of a hard day of working out versus 2 bowls of Frosted Flakes, I guarantee you that cannabis has much more of a place in an athlete's life than Frosted Flakes. Well, so if anything's a bad example, it's to eat bad food like that.
That is true, David. What a pleasure to have you on. Please come back whenever we have late-breaking news that has to do with pot. High Times, David Bienenstock. See you soon. All right, I want to turn to the panel. Dr. Fisher, why do so many people care if an athlete smokes pot? It's not a performance enhancer. Right. Are we making too big of a deal out of something like this?
Well, you're asking an old pothead, so I mean, I like this bong stance, you know. I mean, I'm not going to apologize, you know. I mean, for something that was really a mind expanding a long time ago. I mean, it's illegal, and that's the problem. And, you know, so you know, you can understand why he has to do it, and there's money involved. So you know,
scary. All right, Natalie, you've battled addiction for many, many years. Do you sympathize with Phelps? Shouldn't the guy be allowed to have a little fun now and then?
Well, his body is a commodity. It belongs to American society. It represents us. And with his VO2 max, that goes straight to his bloodstream. So he's really taking a hit for all of us.
Oh, how nice. That's quite beautiful. Hey, Joe, wasn't his real mistake not toking, but being photographed toking?
No, his real mistake was apologizing for it. That was the first thing he did that made me think he was cool. I don't care about the Olympics. I don't care about a bunch of competing children that have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day before school to go practice. You may call them champions. I call them dorks, okay? When I heard this story, I was like, finally, one of these guys is worth admiring. And by the way, weed, really? It's not even coke. It's not even a cool drug or a dangerous drug. Why don't you just have a picture of him eating 30 minutes before he swims or whatever? It's like, come on.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, you do a lot of heroin, but you're not an Olympic athlete. Any advice for the poor chap?
I'd like to do a preemptive apology. I don't have any lucrative endorsement deals yet, but in case I do, I want to apologize now for the many, many drugs I've ingested right before this program. But as far as this guy is concerned, the amount of calories he ingests on a daily basis to begin with is startling. After a couple bangers, him doing that same thing, I mean, doubling the intake he usually does, that would be world record territory in and of itself.
There would be people.
And you know, one sponsor of his, this is true, several hours ago, Speedo came out and said that they are going to stand behind him, and then they went back to the business of hammocking bananas.
Yeah. Well, Bill, you've said many times you'd love to stand behind him.
I would, possibly with some video equipment.
Excellent. All right, from bongs